You ever sit down in front of a screen getting ready to write out that next great novel or put out that great piece of content and you find yourself staring at a blinking cursor? Might not be an inspiration block. It may be that you don't have enough fuel to focus. But what if I told you your next great idea didn't start here? It started on the plate. In this episode of the Creative Synergy Show, we're going to be talking about exactly how to fuel your brain for optimal focus and long creative sprints. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Creative Synergy Show. I am your host, Coach Sin. And as always, we're talking about mind body wellness for writers and creative thinkers. But quick update to this show. We'll be doing something a little bit differently going forward. We're going to be talking about high performance creativity and how you can sustain that. And what I mean by that is we're going to be tackling stories not only of motivation, but also the gritty metal of success that is usually shied away from, but is actually the fuel that keeps people moving towards their goals. It's in those hurdles that you have to face and overcome that help you to accomplish long-term success. So we're going deeper, guys. Hang on tight. Showtime synergy. Let's face it, we've all gone through brain fog before, and usually it's a matter of low energy, and energy comes from food. Food is a source of fuel. Yes, it tastes good, and we treat ourselves from time to time. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about how nutrition can support your focus, creativity, and the sustained energy you need to accomplish long writing or creative sessions. Plus, I got practical snack ideas that you can use that you can keep right at your desk or in your car so that you're not making bad decisions. Basically, tell me I'm not alone in this. You sit down, you're getting ready to write or create something, and you find yourself staring at a blank screen, cursor is blinking, and no matter how hard you try, you cannot power through it. You're reaching for extra cups of coffee or soda, and you think you've just come across a stumbling block. You're lacking focus, and maybe you're just suffering from writer's block. Well, the fact of the matter is it may not be a matter of inspiration that's holding you back. It's actually a matter of needing fuel to power you through. Like I said at the top of this, food is fuel, but it takes certain nutrients to power the body and mind in a way that is conducive to long-term creative sessions. So we're going to break down exactly which types of food you should be eating, and more importantly, the alternatives that you can use to avoid the sugary snacks and high-calorie coffees that essentially will bring you up and then shoot you right back down into that mid-afternoon slump. We've all been there, especially if you work a 9 to 5 in an office environment. You start to lose your focus sometime after lunch. Why is that? Well, there's a direct energy connection between food, fuel, and how the body reacts to it. So more often than not, the problem is, and I've touched this many, many times before, it's also in my book, Staying Fit While You Sit. But we start off the day in a mad panic, rushing out the door. More often than not, you've skipped breakfast. Once you get to the office, you're grabbing a cup of coffee. Hours go by, you've still not eaten breakfast. By the time lunch comes, you're starving. Once you eat, what happens is the body is now metabolizing that meal and it is spiking your blood sugar. So now your blood sugar has gone on a roller coaster ride. So as soon as nutrients are delivered into the body, not just the steady flow of caffeine, all of a sudden the body needs to take a nap because you're spiking and lowering the blood sugar. And these blood sugar swings often contribute to afternoon crashes, trouble concentrating, difficulty staying in your creative flow, and even increased cravings. I'm not going to get deep into the science of this. There are great resources through nutritionists and your physician that you can get more information from. I will say, though, there is a direct relationship between meal timing and energy slumps. And this is exactly why we need to maintain consistent source of fuel throughout the day, and not just any type of fuel. Like I said before, there are certain nutrients that will help you gain more energy and focus. You just might not know what they are yet. So why does it matter so much what you eat and when you eat it? Well, as writers and creative thinkers, we need a steady stream of energy supplied to our overall system so that we can tackle things like drafting, editing, or problem solving. If you're not a writer, you don't understand the nuances that come with creating those elements that you see. The picture you see in your head goes onto the page in a certain way. But if there is a block because you're lacking energy, then that connection kind of gets severed. So we're going to talk about simple brain-friendly foods that fit into your lifestyle. The goal here isn't to create a perfect diet. There's no such thing. What we want to do is start to curb some of these cravings and these not so healthy habits and get them streamlined into a way that will a reliable energy source so that your creativity has room to breathe and you feel energized as you're working. Right now, let's talk about a few of the top brain foods to help you power through your creative sessions. Berries, the creative session sweet spot. Examples: blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. These are easy to keep near your desk. They're naturally sweet, so if you're craving like a chocolate or something and you grab some berries, it may be, especially if you have some frozen berries, that'll actually help you to curb that craving when you're wanting chocolate or something else sweet. Berries also pair well with sources of protein. Think Greek yogurt with berries in it, a little bit of honey, a little bit of granola. That is the perfect snack, or it's the perfect breakfast option to get you on the right foot and start to power you through the day. Remember, eat your breakfast because a lot of people skip breakfast. And like I said before, you start to slump. If you fuel yourself properly first thing in the morning, you'd be surprised how that energy carries you throughout the day. Number two, nuts and seeds, the desk drawer power foods. Examples: walnuts, almonds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. These are perfect little snacks that are convenient for busy schedules. And they even sell them now in the pre-made packs so that you're not overindulging. Because if you do overindulge in nuts, you're going to get elevated fat levels. But if you just get that handful of mixed nuts, particularly walnuts, are great for the mind. It'll help you to, again, curb those cravings. It gives you a little bit of an energy boost. And that's exactly what we're looking for, is that energy boost to power us through what we're trying to finish. Eggs, a simple writer's breakfast. Let's talk about eggs. Now, eggs are a staple of any bodybuilder or athlete because we know that it's an excellent source of protein. It's a full profile nutrient, which means if you eat the whole egg and you're not worrying about the cholesterol in the yolks, it gives you a full profile of nutrients instead of segmented nutrients where you would have to get the rest of it from a different source. So if you have a couple of hard boiled eggs as a snack, that's going to fill you up. Number one, you're not gonna feel hungry. And they're also going to contribute to fueling your brain, which is what we're trying to do here, right? Fuel for focus. And the way that you do that, like I said, the hard boiled eggs, or find yourself a recipe online to make egg muffins. All you got to do, get your favorite ingredients, make sure you go easy on the cheese and the heavy meats, though. Vegetables are great. You mix them up, you put them in a muffin tin, and you make little egg muffins that are convenient, portable. You heat them up, you put a little hot sauce. Very, very good and convenient, like I said. Plus, again, they're a powerhouse nutrient. So give that a try next time. Leafy greens, fuel for long-term brain health. Do you remember being a child and being told to eat your vegetables? Yeah, we've all been there, and there's a reason for it. Leafy greens, not only do they contribute to more energy, but they are just a powerful nutrient anyway. Also very versatile, and you can add them to almost any meal. For example, again, if you're running short on time, you could throw greens into a smoothie and they blend up real well. Spinach being a wonderful option for that. Also, grab a salad, pair it with some chicken for the protein, and there's a healthy lunch or even a snack. So many different variables you can use with leafy greens that doesn't have to get stale or boring. Like I said, they're versatile and they pack a lot of power. Oats for the long writing session. Oats are convenient, filling, and great for mornings. I'm an oatmeal fan. I always have been. When I was younger, I used to doctor it up with all the sugar and butter. These days, I add berries, a little almond milk, some honey. Variables too that you can add to oatmeal to make it a nice flavor profile. And the other thing is there's different options that you can use with the oatmeal that will not only fuel your writing and creative session and power you through it, but it won't impact your busy schedule because a lot of the times we tend to not eat because we're ill prepared. And this is what I was talking about before with the egg muffins or the smoothies. These are the things you can make beforehand. And one of the more popular options these days is called overnight oats. You get yourself a mason jar, you get oatmeal, dry oats, you get your favorite type of milk, and then your toppings, and you mix them together and you put them in the refrigerator the night before. And then when you get them the next morning, you eat it right out of the jar, or you can heat it up as well. There's so many different options that you can do to to make overnight oats that it would never get boring. A little banana, a little coconut, whatever you like to try. You could just make those ahead of time the night before. It's really, really quick and simple, but you'll have that in your back pocket, and it's a great way to start your morning or to get a snack. Or even, breakfast for dinner is a good option too. They also make great snack options too because they're quite filling. So think about switching your prepackaged cereals for overnight oats instead. So I've given you a few options that you can use to power you through your writing and creative sessions, but it's up to you to create a writing fuel routine. Now, here's some more tips that can help you do that. Before you start a writing session, make sure you're prepared ahead of time. Like I said, we've got the muffins, we've got the smoothies, the overnight oats. Make sure you have something that will help power you through your session before you reach for an extra cup of coffee or soda or something like that. And that's another thing. You should keep water nearby. Get yourself some water. Make sure you're drinking throughout the day. If you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So, what I always like to tell people is get a thermos, mark off 8 ounces, and make sure you're drinking it. That's actually probably too low, especially if you live in hotter areas. Just make sure that you're sipping water throughout the day. And every time you try to reach for a soda, make a better choice and drink water instead, because sometimes you're not hungry, you're thirsty. One thing you can do during your writing session, and this will not only help you with lifting the brain fog, but it will also help you ease the stress on your body, is to schedule snack breaks. And when people hear snack, they think immediately cookies and chips. No, like we talked about before, you have other options. Fruit, like I said, the berries rather than sweets, handful of nuts, whatever it is, make sure you need to get up and go and get it. That way you're engaging your body to go and fuel your brain. And as I always say, the two work in synergy. Now, with all that being said, you don't need to deprive yourself of your favorite treats either, but don't consistently indulge in them, because for one thing, they start to lose their value, don't they? If you're able to snack on like your chips or ice cream every day, what makes them special anymore? It's a treat for treat's sake. It's like as if you were give your pet dog the little biscuits over and over again instead of as a reward. Well, it starts to lose its meaning. So one of the things I like is that Sylvester Stallone, during his training for Rocky, he used to have ice cream in the freezer, but he wouldn't touch it until the end of the week. So while he was training throughout the week, he had it in his head that he knew that ice cream was in there and he couldn't wait to get to it. But he had to maintain his healthy eating throughout the week in order to treat himself. So it's helpful to set something like that up to score little wins and little victories. But also, it's important to celebrate as well. So once you finish that novel or that project, go ahead and treat yourself. Just don't overindulge. Everything in moderation. So, with all that being said, I'm going to issue you a challenge, listeners, because we need to start getting active. We need to start putting some of these tips into practice. So, my challenge to you is over the next 7 days, I want you to add one brain friendly snack each day. Drink water during your writing sessions, and then notice the changes in your focus and energy. So this is your challenge if you choose to accept it. And once those 7 days are up, please come back here and leave me a comment and let me know how you're feeling with your focus, your energy, and which snacks you tried. I'd love to hear your recipes for the egg muffins or the overnight oats. Leave them in the comments. And one last thing, creators and my writing companions, your writing doesn't just come from your imagination. It depends on your brain. This is your greatest resource. So make sure that you take care of it with adequate rest, water, and nutrients. These small changes in your food choices can change your energy and focus that will help you to bring your stories to life. That's it for today's episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with a fellow creative to help them balance their work and well-being. We'll see you next week, but for right now, show's over, Synergy.